should be topic number 2 tonight. Says shout out to Niger for becoming the fastest growing economy in the world. This comes with a link that takes us to YouTube to a video titled Mali has just signed off the biggest contracts ever. We'll take a look and then we will discuss it.
Niger. You remember Niger? We spoke about Niger many, many times. Yeah. Guess what is the fastest growing economy in the world right now? Niger is the fastest growing economy in the world. Congratulations. Yeah. That's what happens with change.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is shining guide you, baby. So let them rain on your spark.
Now, what happened exactly? Niger used to sell a lot of uranium to France, and France set the price. You remember Niger? This is a beautiful country, Niger, on the map. We're just going to put the map so some of our people can understand where Niger is. I know we don't always know. Lovely place, very hot indeed. They sold their uranium to France exclusively, and France set the price. So I'm selling you my stuff, but you set the price because you colonized me. So because you colonized me and you taught me how to speak French, now you can set my price. Niger, for some of you know, we spoke about this very, very much. They toppled the president named Mohamed Bazoum. After toppling the president, they changed the price of uranium. Uranium, for those of you who don't know, is used for nuclear power. It's used for electricity. Okay, people use electricity created by uranium. Niger sold most of his electricity or most of his uranium to France exclusively. France produced electricity, then France sold electricity to some of the countries in Europe. Meanwhile, Nigerians had no electricity back home. That's how it happened. Until the military government took over power and kicked off the president that wasn't working for the people. Now Niger has become the fastest growing economy in the world. Congratulations. They've upped the price. No more favors to nobody. No more helping people because they taught you how to speak French and eat pizza. Not pizza. What that stupid cheese again? Whatever. Yeah. No more of that. That's how now Niger is the fastest growing economy in the world. Unfortunately, there still are some of the poorest country in the world, or one of the poorest country in the world, but definitely one of the fastest growing economy. Awesome stuff. So now we're going to talk about Mali. Remember Mali? Here's Mali, a map of Mali, beautiful place. I know some of our brothers don't know where this is, so we can understand. Africa is a big continent. Okay, we have like 54 countries. It's a big continent. Different cultures, different tradition, different people, lots of things. If you've never been to Africa, I encourage you to come and visit, come have a look. You will love it. From Ghana to Tanzania, from Morocco to South Africa. Lovely place to be. Okay, so what happened in Mali? Mali has just signed a contract. Guess with who? With Russia, about developing a refinery of gold for production. So Mali has signed a contract with Russia for producing gold. Mali has lots of gold. And unfortunately, for many, many years, like many other African countries, Mali will take gold and whatever product it is, they will send overseas or they will send to Europe or any other country. That's where they're going to work on the product, impoverishing the people in the country. Now, Russia is willing to come to Mali and construct a refinery with Mali in order to produce gold for the Malian people. Congratulations! Yeah! So Mali military government has officially entered into an agreement with Russia, unveiling plans for a state-of-the-art gold refinery project to be established in the Malian capital, Bamako. The deal, which spans 4 years, includes the construction of a refinery capable of producing a substantial 200 tons of gold annually. Congratulations, Malian. Fellas, let me put it this way. I'm going to break it very easily for you guys, okay, so you can understand. Mali, like Burkina Faso and Niger, were tired of their president because presidents seem to be working for his own interest and for the interest of foreign nations. Yes, Malian people were very impoverished while the countries had so much gold, and the gold obviously was sent to other countries. Now the Malians have chosen to create their own refinery. Many years before that, the gold was exported to France and many other European countries. That's where the gold will be refined and produce for consumption. Now, what does that do? When you go and create a refinery in another country, the host country where you get the mineral from is impoverished, because a refinery in Mali means more jobs for Malians. It means more expertise for Malians. It means knowledge for Malians. It means creating, growing an economy in Mali. And that's one of the biggest deals with many African countries, whether it's Cameroon or Gabon. These countries have a lot of timber. They have a lot of wood, a lot of trees, but they have to take the trees and send it to Europe. That's where the trees are going to be refined. Is that acceptable? It's not. Then at the end of the day, they have to order furniture coming from Dubai. Can you believe that? You have all the timber in the world. You have all the stuff that you need, the woods, the forest. But your timber goes to Europe and Dubai. And Dubai creates the furniture that you purchase at a level of thousands of dollars. I mean, is that stupid or is that anything different? I don't know. You tell me. Now, the problem of many African countries, whether they produce gold or diamonds or lithium, oil, or any other thing, they do not have refineries where they can, actually finish their product and export. Investors come into these countries, they take the raw material to whichever country they take it to, then they come and sell it to you at a very inflated price. Same with cocoa, okay? Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are the biggest producer of cocoa in the world, but they buy their chocolate coming from Germany, France, and Belgium. Can I repeat that? Ghana and Ivory Coast have the most cocoa in the world, okay, for production of chocolate. But they go buy chocolate in France and Germany and Netherlands. Is that okay? Is something wrong? Definitely, because there's no refinery in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And it's very, very sad. So they come into your country, they set the price. We're going to buy at this price. You cannot discuss because you have no refinery. What are you going to do with it? Africans have no refinery for lithium, for production of cars, electrical cars and cell phones and all that stuff. Africa has no refinery for cobalt. Africa has no refinery for any of these things, production of cell phones and all that. So when you have no refinery and you do not have the technology, what happens? Whoever who's got the refinery and the knowledge will come to you and say, you know what, I'm going to pay it my own price. Okay, it's my price. You want my price, or what are you going to do with it? Just imagine you have a big piece of uranium. What are you going to do with it if you don't know what to do with it? You don't know what to do with it. You don't have the means to transform it. Okay, so you see where we're going. Now, Mali has made a very big decision in involving Russia. Okay, Russia, come to my country. Let's build a refinery so my people can profit. Now, there's something very interesting to this story. A couple of days ago, we spoke about Kidal. Kidal is a big city in northern Mali. We said Kidal was freed by the Malian military after French people were unable to kick out all the terrorists and all the Tuareg people that live there. But Malian government with a Wagner group went into Kidal and they took over the country. They took over the city. Now, something happened. For many, many years, Kidal was controlled by these terrorists. Now, some people believe that the terrorists were actually sponsored by France in order for France to come into Mali and take illegally the gold that was in Mali. Because if you come openly, you need to pay tax, right? If you come, okay, I'm coming to your country to take gold, you're going to have to go through policies and pay tax and pay whatever that's required. If you create mayhem, you bring the rebels or terrorists and you steal from them, or you take, you give them weapons, you give them whatever they need, and you say, I just need gold from you. The deal is easier, right? Yeah. So now the Malian government with the Russians have kicked out the terrorists. Now they decided to create a refinery for the country. Are these countries moving forward? Congratulations. And I think we need to talk about this very much often. Apart from South Africa, many African countries do not have refineries for whatever products, goods they have. It's very sad. And South Africa is very different because, like I said to you earlier, many African countries were looted because Europeans came to African countries to steal and go. In Nigeria, they came to steal and go. In Ghana, they came to steal and go. In Congo, in Burundi, in Rwanda. In South Africa, unlike other African countries, the Europeans came to stay. They firmly believed that they were coming to stay forever. They're going to stay in power forever. Okay, and that was the initiative around building good infrastructure, making sure things are running smoothly, and also perpetuating the apartheid, which was a government that was separatist, that separated blacks from whites, and it was run by a specific group of people that believe the white race was superior to the black race. It's only at 1994 the country actually became free. That's when the blacks and the whites could actually mingle together and have a good time together and live together. And that is one of the main reasons why South Africa is pretty much in advance to many African countries. In many other African countries, infrastructure such as roads, you'll see mainly good road coming from mines to the port of the sea. So from the mines to the port, that's where you saw the good road. Why? Because clearly they came to steal from the mine and take it to the ports out of the country. In South Africa, that wasn't the case. They were trying to build some stuff for themselves to profit from. Okay? So the refineries, the production companies, and all that stuff were built in South Africa with the goals of profiting the white people who lived in South Africa at the time. Still live today, but I mean, very different setup. So again, I think it's very important to mention it. Country like Nigeria, where Elon Musk came to ask access for lithium. He wanted lithium because lithium is necessary for the construction of electric cars. And you know, Elon Musk is the owner of Tesla. Okay, so he wanted to come and take the lithium. And the Nigerian government said to them, you can come in, but provided that you build a refinery station here in Nigeria. Yeah, congratulations, Nigeria. That was a very good decision. Guess what happened next? Elon Musk said, no, we're not interested to building a refinery in your country. But we are very much interested to come into your country and take your lithium and take you wherever we have to take it. The same happened in Zimbabwe with the current president, Mnangagwa. And he said to them, no, we need a refinery here. They refused to build a refinery. And what did Mnangagwa do? He went and signed a contract with the Chinese to come and build a refinery in Zimbabwe. And the same thing is happening in Uganda right now with the oil. So Africans are clearly waking up. They understand the way to production, the way to greatness, the way to a better life. It's industry. It's knowing exactly how it functions. It's building the building blocks, putting everything together yourself, having it done in your country, providing jobs for the people, opportunities for the fathers, get people involved, the knowledge, the expertise for the country to move forward. Let me know how you feel about this. So they've kicked out the rebels and now they got a project of refinery. So in that area where the rebels were stationed, there was a lot of gold. So many people believe the rebel were, furnished and equipped by France in order for France to come illegally and steal the gold. Now the Malians with the Russians have kicked them off. Obviously, if you watch French TV, they'll tell you that the Malians are using illegal people to kick out the rebels. Just imagine, they're telling you, you're using illegal people. These people are vicious. Wagner, you shouldn't be using Wagner. Nobody should deal with Wagner. But in the meantime, Wagner just helped the Malians to free their country. And let me remind you before I leave, Mali has got very beautiful history, of Africa. Malian had an empire. Timbuktu, that is a UN heritage site, could produce and bring a lot of money to Mali. Plenty of it. But unfortunately, that space was occupied by rebels, by these Tuareg. They came and they destroyed completely some of the heritage. I mean, these go back like in the year 1400. These construction go back to the year 1400. As you can imagine, many people can come for tourism to just learn about the empire of Mali. And Mali would make a lot of money from it. Now, these rebels say, in the name of Islam, we're going to destroy everything. Their version of Islam is just crazy. Thank you very much, fellas. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Interesting. I like how he did that. He compared this region to other regions and on the continent. I really like how he did that. I agree with Jose in the chat when he said, there you go, be happy together. I didn't quite get that, but for those of you who are, and Brother Bakari had to drop off. He was having technical difficulties, so he's in the chat right now. But for those of you who are well learned in these deals, I'm gonna have to lean on you guys to, whether you're in the chat or on the panel, to describe these things a little bit better. But I'm hoping that the continental Africans in these places like Niger, I hope they are when they say that they're going and get the Russians, or I forgot who it was who went and got the Chinese to build the refineries and what have you. What are those deals like? I come from a place where there have been deals to build hotels where these people own that land into perpetuity. I talked about that in the show before. That's how I learned the word perpetuity, right? I wonder what these deals are. I wonder if there's a transfer, if there's some kind of, that kind of actuary science where you guys will get this percentage of profits until this time, and then it reverses to us, and then we have ownership. I'm wondering what these deals look like. Hopefully, someone here will have the answer. Quickly in the chat, Bakari said, what's going on here? Bakari said, didn't Nigeria, he says, didn't Nigeria build an oil refinery? If so, why don't those countries use Nigeria to help? Huh. Interesting. Jose said something is nonsense. Let's figure out what it is. Let me throw it to Black Steel. Black Steel, shout out to Niger. Yes or no?
Well, I think you shout out to Niger for getting rid of the French. You know, I understand as the expression is, Rome wasn't built in a day. So, excuse me. I think it's good that France is gone. The relationship France had with their francophone African countries is completely exploitive. So the fact that they're not there is a good thing. Um, so I understand that these things are going to take time. As far as reaching out to the Russians to develop gold, I agree that why didn't they reach out to the Nigerians? But also to harsh reality's point, Nigeria is really controlled by the West. So there's no guarantee. I mean, Nigeria was getting ready to invade Niger not too long ago because they decided to break away from France and remove uh, their president who was corrupt, and which made Niger the second poorest country on earth. I think we don't realize that the level of poverty that existed within Niger that was completely sustained by France. So the fact that they had the fastest developing economy just really shows that what can happen when these restrictions are lifted against the African people. I mean, there's really nothing inherently wrong with us. So, and I also, okay, so to take back to the gold refining process coming from Russia, um, I I I would say, and I question it only because maybe they didn't have the infrastructure to create one. And like you said, I think maybe we could look at these deals as something that's going to be temporary, because I also understand those African nations playing off of the Russians, seeing as how they realize the West is the one who colonized them. Maybe the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I don't really know too many details about the deals or whatnot. But I can understand where they're thinking. Maybe I can play off one enemy against another to my benefit. So I understand that that could be strategic in a way. But hopefully the goal is to be free from both Russia and the Western bloc of powers as well. And I think that's kind of, if we look back in the history of the Congo, when Patrice Lumumba, he joined the non-aligned movement because the Congo being such a large nation with the resources, the West was afraid of Lumumba falling into the Soviet bloc, and he had no interest in joining the Soviets, just like he had no interest in joining, the capitalists, the West. But because of the threat that it would be, they couldn't have him even sympathizing. So just with whatever the Russians were doing, so they had to take him off the board and put him in Mobutu. So I don't think that. Um, I think hopefully maybe what they're doing is strategic, but the long term goal is to have control over their own resources and use it to benefit their people instead of signing away the rights to these foreign mining companies who come in and take and take and take and give nothing back. So I'll pass the mic. I'm sure there may be some people who have more information than I do. But thanks, Kofi.
No, thanks for that, though, Black Steel. Thanks for that. Yeah, we have to keep those things you mentioned in mind, and I hope that we're not just blindly. And this came up on Shoot the Breeze over a year ago, maybe, but I hope we're not just saying, "Well, the enemy of my enemy must be my friend," and we're making the same mistakes that we have with our enemy, right? So I just hope that we're being diligent there. Let's welcome in Jose. I haven't seen Jose in a minute. Jose, how are you this week?
Hey, I am as always not quite enthusiastic about where we are as a people. So no, I'm not happy. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, but I'm glad that you came through. I know it's late where you are. You said to keep an eye on Ghana too. Talk about
it. Yeah, they received about 150 military vehicles, and yeah, for the type that it was, it's like yeah, an infantry war or whatever you call it. I mean, it the type of weapons that would be very useful in, for example, invading. What they are hired for by the African Union, the French made African Union. I mean, it's like it's vehicles for ground troops, and it's not going to be you already know it's not going to be a war or an invasion with air dominance. I mean, have you seen the planes of the average African country? Their air force is training airplanes. The air force, the airplanes that a Nigeria or a Ghana uses, or Senegal, are the type of airplanes that in the West or the rest of the world train with those airplanes. It's so yeah. I expect. Why now? Why now? But since I have the mic,
absolutely.
I really want us not to speak like folks in the West. Oh, Russia. I don't know what Russia is going to do. I don't know what Russia is going to do. Look at the past. What did the Soviet Union do? They left when the colonial wars were over, right? So I mean, not even a fart. Don't even believe a fart from the West. That's what I want to say. I look at the history. Look at the relation we already had. It was already a multipolar world, and as soon as we started fighting for our rights, we became terrorists. We were blocked from the Western markets, so we had no choice. Just like Cuba, no communism. They didn't have no choice. But anyway, I pass the mic. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Jose. Thanks for coming through too. I dropped the link in the chat again. It's actually pinned to the top of the chat. You can just click it and join. But I dropped it in the chat for Anthony or anyone else who wants to join. Let's hear from Buana. Buana, what say you?
Yeah. So for me, in watching this video, and you asked the question, well, let me just try to break it down like this. The goal if you want to play in the game in the world markets is being able to produce finished products, end-made products, like this man was suggested. Not necessarily like the man was saying, going into the forest and gathering the wood, but being able to transform that wood into furniture to send out all over the world. That's where the real money is. Not only having a cocoa plantation that exists within your nation or be able to produce the cocoa, but be able to transform that cocoa into Hershey's bars, into Cadbury, where you can sell them all over the world. That's where the real money is made. And these people know that. So they will give a politician in these countries whereas natural resources and minerals and certain, they'll give them a certain amount of money. But these people that who don't have enough long term vision to see, well, the money is not necessarily in what's in the soil. The fact that I'm able to mine that out of it. The money is able to produce in refineries, so I can create the finished products. So you can't. So Menangagwa in Zimbabwe, he get a clue finally. The Ghanaians, I forget who the president of Ghana is. I forget his name now. He understand the money is in refineries. As long as I am able to transform the cocoa that I am able to pick off of the tree, transform that into a Cadbury bar and sell it around the world globally, that's when I'll be able to produce and create for my people. And what comes with refineries, as these brothers are saying, jobs, not only labor jobs, but skilled labor. Skilled labor that'll be able to improve the so-called standard of living in these countries because you have to pay people more for skilled labor. All these things are translatable. When the man say, and it made me cry, not even made me cry, but it made me really think. He said the best roads in some parts of Africa are where the minerals are, from the minerals straight to the ports to send out the natural resources. But when you look at my country and come on the same way, you can come on from a boat and just drive on one road to where the hotels are. That's the best roads in the country. Everywhere else, you have to drive through ditches and potholes and all of these other kinds of things. Yeah, but where the tourism industry, where the industries are, you see the best roads, and the politicians prepare the states like this. So we are secondary people in our own country without even considering it. So these guys are trying to upset the apple cart and turn it to where the people matter more. So, well, that's a whole nother matter. That's a whole nother matter. All I'm trying to say is the game is in being able to produce finished products. And the fact that these guys get a clue and understand that to create refineries in your country, will be able to at least put you in the game now. So you can't just come to extract. You have to buy the gold coin from us now. Unless you want to create a war. So I'm glad that at least these leaders of these countries are finally getting the cue. Who they doing business with is another matter. The propaganda out there say, well, you can't do it with the Chinese. The Chinese are godless. You can't do it with the Russians because the Russians are communists. Oh, so y'all been in these countries. The Western world has been in these countries for hundreds of years, and they can barely get a functional hospital. Y'all ain't doing nothing, but these people saying, well, we will do these things if you give us enough lithium. Han go, Han come. That's an understandable trade. But then you have people from the West saying, oh, the Chinese taking over your country. Why? Because they put in business and refineries in their country. So where we could set a actual global price and y'all don't set the price for us, that's intelligence. That's intelligence. But the propagandists in the West say, the Chinese taking over your country. Well, what did the West do while they've been in your country for 400 years? Running your economy. Can't even produce a functional hospital in some of these African countries. And y'all ain't do shit, but the Chinese promising and doing certain things to build an infrastructure in our country. I say, y'all come to my country. I don't give a damn what these guys saying are over here because they ain't do the actual work in improving the conditions of our lives here. But if y'all willing to build refineries, I don't care what you come under. You know what I mean? I don't care what you come under. But that's just me. I know I'm ranting right now, but I'm gonna stop and I let the other brothers go.
By the same time.
I appreciate that, brother. I don't ever take it as a rant. But I do want to welcome in our boy. You guys in the chat are familiar with him, but you don't know him by this name. If he can tell you what other name you know him by in the chat. But let's welcome in our boy Anthony McPhail. Anthony, how are you? First time.
Hey, how you doing, brother, man? I'm so glad to be here, man.
Yes,
I'm excited, man. I'm excited, because I've been listening to this show for so long, man. And I say it's about time I show my face on, man. But I'm glad to be. I'm glad to be here. Go ahead, man.
Thank you. You want to tell the folks what your usual chat name is, so people will be able to identify.
Okay. The former Dr. Bobby E. Wright. Yeah, that was it.
Sir.
The former
Dr.
Bobby E. Wright. Yeah.
Yes,
my hero.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Anthony, what say you? Because you tend to have a lot of, on a real serious note. Anthony is a guy who should be on the network too, because this guy has real knowledge. I realize he has a good memory too. He knows details real well. So Anthony, you probably could fill us in on some of these things that are going on here historically and currently.
Okay, yeah. From what I see, from what I've been checking out. Well, first thing I like to say, it's a start, man. It's a start. You got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's a start, and it is and kicking the French out, because the French, I mean, they've been exploiting Africa for so long, man. It's just it's just ridiculous, man. But I think that as long as the leadership keep in mind that it's their people they serving and not their pocketbooks, they'll be all right, man. That's what I think. But it's a start, man. You don't want to trade one master for another one. But I'm saying, I think it's a start, man. I think it's a good thing, man. I'm for Niger. I'm for, man. I think we need to see where it's going, though, man. Because to me, the verdict's still out on everything. It's all new. But I just think, for right now, I'm gonna say, yeah, go Niger, man. Go Niger. But just remember to keep your people in mind, and not your pocketbook. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to become another Mobutu, and I'll leave it at that right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are shouting you out. What's good, bro? Says the Hash Rally Podcast. Buana, who's up in the panel, is like, man, that's Bobby right.
Peace to everybody, man. Peace to everybody, man. Buana Hagaziki, the Hash Reality Podcast, man. Everybody, man. Pro Black Perspective. Everybody. Carl Hezekiah, Black Steel. I follow all of y'all. Man. I learned a lot from all of you guys. Yeah.
Now we learn a lot from you too in the chat, believe me. Anthony McPhail used to comment heavy when we did the book club, me and Black Steel. So he goes that far back, man.
Way back in 2017, man. I remember when I first seen the show, I was like, man, who is these guys, man? I was like, damn. Yep. It changed my life, man. Go ahead.
Appreciate that.
Man, I love to hear stuff like that, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. We love to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, man. It changed my life, man. Even right now, I feel listening at those, at y'all at the book club, man. The one y'all did on Leopold's Ghost, and you know what I'm saying. I loved it, man. I loved it. My bad. I'm sorry I've interrupted, man.
No. This is why I don't quit. As much as I might get down or whatever, this is why I don't quit. Because there's folks like Anthony who leave kind words and they stick with it. Ups and downs, drama, low numbers. This guy is a regular. And shout out to Dorico Cooper too. These guys are regulars oftentimes. Does anyone else here want to add any thoughts to this, any last thoughts to this prompt? All right. With that said, let me just mute Anthony for a second there. Anthony, I'm just muting you because your TV is playing in the background. What we'll do is we'll go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 3 tonight then. I want to thank everyone who's here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure share the show to your socials and whatnot.